Let's do this. I was thinking about doing a Tai Chi class this evening, but people have sticks. So you want to do a stick or do Tai Chi? What do you prefer? The reason I'm thinking about Tai Chi is I have Mark, for instance. I have your stick that I've cut, and I have another one. There's been some requests. My feeling is getting the next round of sticks out to people, and or take some time to practice with the material that we have out. But if you guys want to work on stick, we can do that too. I was thinking about doing Tai Chi. Votes, comments.
Tai Chi.
Okay, Mark says Tai Chi. Yeah. Stick. Okay. We got three for Tawa. Rad, what's your vote?
I'm open. I can go either way.
Okay, you know what? Let's do Tai Chi. It'll be it's easier that way, and we'll have time to work on stick later. So Tika, if you have questions, if you have something specific, just hang out, and we can work on something if you have questions from the forum. Meanwhile, let's actually do something. Whether we do Tai Chi, let's do some kind of movement. Allow your feet to touch. Bring your head top up to the highest point. Relax your shoulders. Relax your hips and tailbone. Take a deep breath. Bring your hands together in the center. Pushing up through the back of the head top. Relax the tailbone. And so from here, feel your feet on the ground. And allow your legs to relax so that your tailbone is sitting directly over top of your feet. Meaning the hips, this area is sitting directly flat over top. And then push the back of your neck up and relax your shoulders. So we're using the base as a pedestal and then expanding the head top against that. Connect the tongue to the upper palate. Open the nostrils to breathe in more. Move your mind into the Dantian. Take a deep breath. Relax. Let's actually start with some breathing. So, make it a stretch, expanding, reach all the way, and then the same thing out to the sides and at the base. It's relaxed. So we're lifting. Activate your feet, pulling up on the bottom. Keeping the tongue pressed to the upper palate, stretching the energy up, expanding it to the sides. So when you reach the sides, feel your shoulders also expanding. Open your torso. So use the whole body. Expanding up. Reach out. Lifting. So go at your own pace. And now add something to your imagination. When vertebrates are born, they come in a sack. So imagine you have a balloon, right? When you see fish eggs, they have an egg, turns into a little tadpole type thing, and they're inside of a gel pouch before they hatch. And this happens up and down evolutionary chain for vertebrates, for ones that have a spine. I don't know about other creatures. So imagine being inside and you want to expand, so pressing up, reaching, making the circle, the egg shape larger, and then the same thing for the sides, like you're pressing out all the way to the sides. And at the base, relaxing, gathering the energy, so lifting the energy from your feet up through the legs, up through the torso, inhaling to expand, like you're stretching the skin. And then the same thing for the outside. Relax your shoulders and elbows when you reach here, and pressing the heel of the palms out. You can also reach power to the fingertips all the way at the ends. And then at the base, relaxing again. So reach like you want to expand your circle. Like you want to expand as if it's a three-dimensional shape. And by inhaling fully to the max and extending on all sides, we can make that larger. And wherever you're at, do two more. Take your time, go at your own pace. If you finished early, just return to Tai Chi Harmony. Otherwise, make it the longest, deepest breathing of the week so far. And when you finish, bring everything back to the center. And then internally make a calibration, make adjustments. Make the crown chakra all the way up. And so in this same posture, the exercise we were doing a second ago, while we're reaching to the extents, like we're pushing from the inside of an egg, I want you to have that same feeling while we're standing in Tai Chi Harmony. So pushing up through the head top. The back of the neck feels expanded this way. You may feel energy also in the forehead. But the rest of this is suspended with gravity. It's hanging this way. The chin is tucked, shoulders are rolled back and relaxed, the chest is hollow. But breathing, even though the shoulders are relaxed, they're sitting at an angle. We don't want them to be level. We want them to be hanging this way. So when you get a chance, whether you see yourself on the camera or whether you look in the mirror, allow the shoulders really to relax in that position. But then, when they're relaxed, if you're doing the breathing, you'll feel the whole shape expand. So imagine the egg, and then closing the center and opening the back. This is the problem that we have, is the reverse, is we have from being in quarantine, right? And so that goes out this way. And then what happens is this goes back forward here. We're reversing that. We want to control this shape and then allow this to relax, so that this, instead of the structure going this way, we have it's straight. So the back is straight and the front is straight. Relax your tailbone so that the legs they have a bend this way, and make a connection between your tailbone in the back and your toes in the front. So as if there's a line that connects, tailbone is curved this way, and that curvature ends at the toes. The knees have a bend in them, otherwise, don't worry, they're just not straight, right? They have a little bend. Feel your ankles, activate the ankles. Pull your heel forward. The outsides of the feet turning in. Activate the toes. Make the arch in the foot. And then you can amplify that by like flexing by grabbing more. And when you do that, you feel your feet have a powerful shape. Then see how little effort you can use, how little energy, how little muscle and tendon you can use to keep that strong shape, to keep the powerful shape that's in your foot. So try to allow it to relax, but keep the same shape. So in the beginning for Tai Chi, if we think of it as a system, some of you teaching martial arts, teaching other things. So from a teacher's perspective, the first thing that we want to do is get people lined up. A lot of people coming to Tai Chi coming from an older age. Young people generally not interested in Tai Chi. It's boring, right? But as we're older, we can appreciate the conservation nature of it. And so the first thing we want to do is get the student lined up. After many years of bad posture and having misadjustments in the hips and the shoulders, what happens is this: everyone has an injury. Everyone has injury, right? Because working out at some time or other, we hurt a foot, ankle, knee, hip, and so what happens is maybe there's a break somewhere, and so we have to use the crutch for some time. And what that does is, after 6 weeks, we have the hips out of adjustment, and so that creates a curve in the spine, which makes the shoulders out of adjustment. And I might look like I'm pretty, lined up and everything here, but then with a few small internal changes, you can see where it's correct. And so this kind of fine-tuning, it may be easy for me to demonstrate rapidly because I've been working on my posture, my structure for some time. The goal is to get everything lined up correctly so we can use a standing posture. Gravity is your friend. People that are woodworking and working with different types of materials will use gravity and will use a vice for pressure to control the shape. So the same way, standing in Tai Chi Harmony, if we look at another, again, martial arts system, we can look at the Shingi and Baji. They use what they call pile standing or post standing, so that the head top is up, the tailbone is down, and just like a post here, you can get the same alignment benefit, getting gravity to do the work for you over the course of time. But we have a special benefit. We can bring the hands together in the center and achieve the same thing. Maybe better, maybe faster, because if you connect the hands energetically and make this circle, the shoulders can have this sort of a little bit of extra weight here. They just weighted this way. In this posture, we may open the back, the upper back and neck in a different way, potentially faster. And then once the student has some sense of center line, from the Bai Hui at the top, crown chakra, to the Hoi Yin at the base, the root chakra at the bottom, we want to establish the distance between those two lines and make it laser line straight. So like we said a second ago, having just a little bit of offset, we want to continuously find, even once it's straight, like a super fine tuning, right? And then we want to practice moving that. So if we just step shoulder width wide, and we just shift, there's a lot of qigong just shifting from one side to the other. By the way, my feet are parallel. I know with the camera angle, it makes my the vanishing point. But to make your feet, at least the insides here, are parallel. And then we're just going to shift the center line. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see. It's almost as if I'm sitting back. And imagine balancing something that you can change the quality of its center line. So imagine you have a stick or a post, and you can make the center line very, very straight. You can make it more balanced. So it's as if your legs aren't working. You're just simply shifting this light weight, because when it's balanced, when the tailbone is tucked and the shoulders are relaxed and the head top is up, the straighter it is, the lighter it becomes. If something is fully balanced, if you have two objects and they have the same weight, and one is very straight and the other one has bends and turns in it, depending on the shape, the straighter one should be easier or lighter. The weight won't change, but easier to move, right? You can practice this with something in your hand. if you take a stick that's nice and straight and you balance it, right, it has a certain, if you take something that's crooked and angled, you have to chase after it. So here, while we're doing the turning, strengthen your legs, pull the head top up, relax your tailbone, and just like you're shifting, like a balancing act, like I was just doing a second ago with the stick, make your hips level and make the transition smooth back and forth. So think of it, the analogy that I use sometimes is like the old style car seats before they have the electric car seats, and they have a handle, and when you reach down and you pull the handle, you can slide forward or slide back, right? That track is very smooth, and they have a type of grease that sits on that, and so when you can slide a big heavy tray with a person sitting on it forwards or backwards very easily. Have the same feeling, so that gripping your feet as you change from one side to the other side. And make the center line so that it's weightless, it's effortless. This is the type of feeling we want to have when we practice Tai Chi. And so we start with 1, the center line, right? And it's an A. And then we go to 2, and we practice transferring that. One teacher, my teacher Gene, he would say, imagine like pouring, the energy's always moving down. How can that be, right? We think with the Tai Chi there's an opposite. Doesn't it have to bounce back up to the other side and sink back down? Well, gravity as a force can be thought of as moving downwards the whole time. Think of a waterfall. So if you connect the idea of the Chi to the gravity, like the energy sinking this way, like pouring water from one side into the other. There's not even a use of the muscles. We're just simply changing the shape of the structure. And then when everything's relaxed, we can fill that empty space with Chi, with energy, and it becomes even more effortless yet. So time it with the breathing. By the way, on this one, be sure to turn the waist. How do we turn the waist to the side without injuring the knee? Remember, we said we don't want to turn the knee at all. That means we have to crease the hip. So folding the inside of this hip in when we turn, and then to the other side. Fold when you're sitting, keeping the hips level. And so now add a little bit of power. Don't push the hip out to the side. Only go to the extent. So like a machine, it just goes to the right to the edge, and then here to the other side as well. So back and forth, and then add a little bit of. Everybody looks like their arms are very soft and relaxed, like it's too effortless. And we need to add just a little bit of. Imagine that there's a curtain, or you can think of a very heavy curtain. If you go into they have in the back of the store, they have a cold storage area that has these big, wide, heavy plastic panels. And so imagine you have to move those out of the way. If you just put your hand like this, those panels are heavy enough to push. But instead, use just a little bit of roundness in the body. But don't use any effort. Like the Chi is filling the space. But you have to have enough power to push. So don't just let it be soft like this. Instead, like you're turning. Then the next one is, so we go from 1 to 2. The next one is 3. It's a 3-dimensional step. And so we do X-stepping. So now with the same feeling, the tailbone, as if it's moving on a tray or on a plane, we're stepping to the corners. So keep the hips level. Relax your shoulders, relax your tailbone. Make the center line very straight and balanced. Like almost as if you're sitting back. I'm going to change so you can see. So if I turn my square facing this direction, shifting back, and then control the step, moving forward, shifting back, forward, And so the goal for this is to be able to go as slowly as we want so that we can check to make sure it's safe to step back. And then once we do, to be able to transfer either back to the stepping leg, standing leg, or to go forward. By the way, for this kind of stepping, my teacher did not teach a lot of withdrawing of the leg because he felt that people would be practicing the Tai Chi form. And the withdrawing of the leg, remember, comes from a fear of losing the balance. So when people practicing, if they don't have the balance to do the posture, to just be able to step into the next thing, right? Because the leg strength on this side or the structural alignment isn't good enough to run the leg out there, they bring it back. They withdraw into the body and then step. That's okay. You can practice that way. And in the beginning, when you don't have the leg strength, when you're balancing, that's fine. But later, we want to be able to move from one step in the corner to the other and change without bringing something back to the center. This is one of the differences between the martial arts and the structural yoga that we're working on. In the martial art, withdrawing the center is a good idea. But for the yoga, for the structure, what we're trying to cultivate is this. We don't have a name for it in English. If we do, it's an interesting one. It's called the Kwa in Mandarin. And so the Kwa is basically, imagine the shape of your pelvis, and then you put it inside of a box. It would be roughly the size of like a pair of boots, or like a very large shoe box, right? That goes to each hip, and it has a front, sides, top and bottom. Doesn't matter about the lid because we're not taking the lid off. And we want to keep that shoebox level the whole time and flat. It may turn a little bit this way, but even if it's turning, a lot of times our intention, unless the power or the square is turning that way. And so, I mean, how will we describe this shape in English? It would take me a lot of words and to use the shoebox analogy. But this whole area is considered the Kwa in Chinese. We might call it the groin or the crotch. These are like kind of weird terms for it. But so this what we want to strengthen is this shape, and the proportion that I like to use, the analogy that I like to use, is something that everyone here has seen. In the office, they have a stapler, right? The stapler has a shape, right? The staple. And so if you imagine the size, a staple that's the size of your pelvis, right? That comes up from the hip, from the hip socket to the arch here in the pelvis. This fancy ridge here is called the iliac arch. And so it comes up here, goes across to the other side and down. We want to make that staple, right? Some people describe it as like an arch. We're going to talk about it geometrically like a square. And so like the corners of that shoebox, we want to be able to make them so strong so that when we're stepping, we can keep everything level and we can go forwards and check our step and make sure it's safe. And then we can also retreat and do the same thing. We can withdraw our foot. We don't have to. We're not forced to withdraw until we make a decision, right? This is because this bar that goes across here, this staple shape that I'm talking about, in myself is cultivated to where I can maintain that, and then this leg becomes like a limb, just like an arm that can reach to do its thing. I'm not relying on that center. Some of you are cultivating the leg strength. Some of you have the leg strength. So this is what the X-stepping is about. Then, from there, we practice the form. So from 1, we have standing. And then 2, we have turning. And then 3, the X-stepping has a whole bunch of exercises associated with it. So when we warm up, usually we have this kind of swing hands. We can do the same thing tied in with X-stepping. So this is, I know for maybe Mark has seen this and Tika has seen it. Maybe some people have seen this a lot. But for Rad and for other people that haven't seen this, let's tie in this exercise with the X-stepping, and we'll examine how we're going to start getting into dynamics of effortless power through motion. Right? So when we step back to the corner, we're turning. And so, again, let's go. If I face the other direction, if I start from here, and I have my center. When I step back, X-stepping, my teacher said starting to the rear left corner. And when you step rear left this way, make one turn with the arms to the other direction. So when you step back, turn. Step back, turn, reset, turn. And this, by the way, is, we had talked about, I think, Saturday, Sunday night, I'm not sure when, the last time, the octopus, right? The way that they work is they have a yin and yang. They open and they close, right? So to swim along. This same thing, when we step back to the corner, this turning is a free power because I'm letting my tailbone sink back and away, and I'm just, remember we said the straighter the axle, the easier it is to turn. So if my spine, shoulders relaxed, turning, I can generate this power almost effortlessly just by sinking my weight back, dropping my weight back that way. So let's try to get a rhythm to find out how to make it repeat. So from the center, step back, reset. When you step forward, left hand, right foot. Reset, forward, reset, back, reset. Step back, reset, forward, reset, forward, reset, back, reset. So this is opposite hand and foot for the action. Not always the case in Tai Chi. Sometimes we have the same hand and foot doing the action. Repulsive monkey, for instance, is considered one hand, one foot moving back, the other hand going this way. So this is same hand, same foot. But we do have brush knee, C-step, press. This is opposite hand and foot. Bon Lan Shui, right here, block, punch, opposite hand and foot. It changes sometimes with the Tai Chi. Before we continue, does anyone have questions, thoughts, comments? We're going to do the Tai Chi form. We're going to do all 3 sections. I think we have time. We have 25 minutes. I'm going to, for Rad and anybody else watching at home that doesn't have experience, we're going to go to the pace that I normally do the form in this class may be considered very fast. So I think Saturday we were taking our time. It's very, very easy to follow. I will try to keep some sort of pace, but because we have 25 minutes, we want to make sure that we get the whole form in. By the way, if you're limited on space, everyone has a space thing. When we do things like repulsive monkey, when we're stepping back to press, I have plenty of space in my place here, and I can continue to do this kind of thing. But if your space is limited, even if you only have a 3-foot by 4-foot space, when we do repulsive monkey, we can switch. We don't have to step back. The whole form can be done in place, right? For those of you working from a limited space. Let's do the form. So if you're not familiar with it, remember we have the square step, the square base, the center line, the circular top, the round top, and then the breathing. If you can focus on even just those few ideas the whole time during the form, you'll be better off than some people who study for many, many years. So let's focus on the basics. Allow your feet to touch, relax your tailbone, bring the head top up, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath and bring your hands together in the center. Opening shoulder width wide, sink the tailbone, Breathe deep. Extend the fingertips, relax your tailbone, settle the hands, and then sinking for Tai Chi Chi Chi. Breathing deep, facing north. This is grasp the sparrow's tail. Ward off. Breathing. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Square step. Ward off. Roll back. Join the palms together. This is press. Breathing. Push. Look left. Glance right. Schwang An is double press. I'm turning 90 degrees to the west. This is split hands. Hook. Single whip. Turning my square to the north. This is Pi Sol San Chi. Lift hands to up posture. Square step. Roll. Unroll. Turning 90 degrees to the west. This is crane. Opening the wings. So wei pi pa. Brush and press to the center. Square step back. This is a repeat of crane. Opening the wings. Like playing a harp. Brush knee, press to the center. This is holding the moon in the chest. Or embrace the moon. Stepping forward. Punch. Ban Ma Shui means, ban means move. Lan means parry or open. And shui is the Mandarin word for punch. Ru Hong, Sudi. So keep your spine upright, turning. Recoil once, twice. Turn the square to the north. This is return tiger to mountain. Grip the ground, breathe deep. Schwan, Sen, Ka, Shong. Turning body, warning palm. Take as many steps as you need. Square faces south, palm press to the center. Breathe deep to return to the roll back. Press. Push. Look left. Glance right. Double push. Horizontal, split hands. Actually, now I'm facing east. I turn so that you can see. Turn back to look at the moon. Right hand covers. Left hand spear fist through the center. This is repulse the monkey. Stepping back. Press. Step back. Press forward. Breathing deep, turn, step back, press to the center. Diagonal flying, cast with the right hand, recoil, shoulder bump, expanding. This is needle at the bottom of the seat. Keep your back and neck straight. Breathe deep. Square step, I'm facing west, San Kong Mei, fan through back, turning, block, punch, kick, square step, parry, punch, fold knees down, keep your head top up, relax your tailbone down, breathe deep, change step, roll back. press, push, look left, glance right, double press, horizontal, split hands. Make the movement continuous into hook. And this is Handabien, is side whip. So my body is parallel east-west, and this is cloud hands in the second section. Use your breathing to control your temperature. If you feel warm, that means you can take longer inhales. The owl show is hook. I'm out of space, so I'm turning, move. This is Gao Panma. Reach over tall horse, turn, tall horse number 2, facing south. I'm going to hop to east, so I'm facing the east, scoop, brush, press to the center, brush knee, C-step, palm press, brush knee, straight step, punch, turning 180, facing west, block, punch, kick, take a deep breath, parry is open, punch. This is left deflect, sometimes referred to as bend the bar. Kick, big roll back, breathe deep. Make your hips and shoulders level, embrace a tiger, bahu. Big roll back, breathing deep. Turning, embrace a tiger, bahu. Left foot moves behind the right. Try to keep everything lined up. This is Scoop the Moon from the ocean. Kick, brush. 2 wings going into the ear. When we step back, grip the ground, relax your tailbone, take a deep breath. Kick left, turning. 2, 3, kick right. Block, punch, kick. Breathe deep, parry. Focus the power to punch. Still facing west, turn the circle. Rufong. Sweep. Turn to the north. This is return tiger to mountain. Bring the feet together. This posture is called turning body, warning palm. Facing due south, palm press to the center, returning to natural rollback. I'll face the side, press, push. Look left, glance right, activate your toes, double press. Long breathing, we're turning all the way to the east. We have hook. This is also a side whip, so my body's parallel to north-south. And wild horse parting its mane. Right side comes up and out, square step, breathe deep. Left shoulder and hip sink. And then coming up from the center and out, wild horse parts its mane, number 2. Breathing deep, the right side sinks. And then comes up through the center. Sometimes called wild horse, shaking its mane. Breathe deep to roll back. Press. We're facing east. double press. By the way, you'll notice once we get into the third section, and we're still moving slowly, you feel a lot of chi, a lot of energy. Hook. So this means that you can control the energy with your breathing. Side whip. This is four corners, sometimes called Jade Lady, working at the shuttle. First corner, northeast, looking first, turning. Second corner, northwest, closing. Third corner, southwest, looking first over the shoulder. Fourth corner, southeast. Now facing due east, left grasp the sparrow's tail, right press to the left side, left press to the center. Breathing. We're back to the main 8 movements. That was press, this is push. Look left, glance right, double press. Horizontal, split hands. Hook. This is a corner whip. You don't need to sink very low. For this next one, it's snake creeping down. We can just simply turn. On the right side, Jinji Duli. Opening like a circle. On the left side, Jinji Duli. And we move right into Repulse the Monkey. Press to the center. Breathing deep. Right side opens. Left side. Breathing. Left side opens. Right side. Press. Sherfei, this is the same as the second section. Diagonal flying. We have shoulder bump. And we have the opening. But on this time, the left hand is the driver for Heidi Zhang. Needle at the bottom of the C. And then now, when we come up, San Tong Wei, turning. Same as the second section, block, punch, kick. Breathe deep, square step, parry, punch, fold, knees down, where head top is up, we're looking forward, change step, breathe deep, roll back, press, push, long breathing, try to relax your shoulders, look left, glance right, double press. Horizontal, split, turning 90 degrees, I'm facing north. This is hook. Side whip means that my body's parallel east-west, and this is cloud hands in the third section. We shift right and press right, and then shift, step, and press left. That's one. Shift right, press right. Step and press. 2 of 2. Breathing. Turn 180 all the way to the east. Breathing all the way west. Press. I don't know if I'm off camera. Press. And then hook. Turn 90 degrees. All of this is the same as the second section. Right up to here, because this is, instead of pat the high horse, this is snake flashing his tongue. And then when we turn, 180, block, punch, kick, cross kick, step square, brush low, punch low. This is a half, fold knees. And then we change, step, breathing deep. This is roll back. Press, facing east. Long breathing. Push. right double press. Horizontal split hands. Hook. This is a corner whip, so I'm turning my square to the west. The second, this is white snake creeping down, turning back to the west. This time, stepping up to 7 stars. We're going to turn 180 to the north. This is called Ride Tiger. Turning 180 to the south. This is called Bailian, Lotus Kick. Open the bow to shoot a tiger. Block, punch, kick, square step, parry, punch, breathing deep, expand, press to the center. Turning 90 degrees facing north. This is embrace tiger, return to mountain. This is called block. Punch right, punch left. Bring the left side back to the right. Everything comes back to the center for He Tai Chi. Let's go back to what we were doing in the beginning. Do a little bit of breathing. How many feel you make some energy? You know, some Qigong aspect. So do some breathing. Remember, we said longer inhales will cool your body down. So take a long time to inflate. Feel the energy, feel the air going over your nostrils. And then here, you can exhale pretty quickly. Get rid of all the air that's inside breathing. So let's do this. And while we do this, I'm going to talk a little bit about Chinese Qigong and Chinese medicine, the idea of acupuncture. Imagine in the Western world, they say you are what you eat. But imagine instead, we say you are how you breathe. So in the Western world, they say if you eat poor quality building supplies, then the building quality will be poor. But anyone that's ever worked on a building knows that the most important thing is having power to be able to put those building supplies into place. So the concept is like this. The Chinese view the oxygen as potential energy, as a qi. And so when you take in that qi, we'll just say that the qi we'll make this like a Tai Chi yin and yang, like a black and white. So the oxygen that you take in is a white, and we'll say it's like an energy potential. And it goes in and it goes to the lungs, and the blood cells pick it up, and they carry it all the way to where it's going. Maybe you have a cut on your foot and it needs to heal. And so the blood, like a transportation, keep working, keep breathing. Long inhales, relaxed exhales. The blood is like a transport system, and it delivers the energy cartridge to the place where it needs to get healed. And then the blood also, just like a delivery truck, has some empty space. So it says, load me up with some CO2. And so they put we'll call that black, right? Yin and yang. That's a spent energy cartridge from wherever it went to. Maybe it was in your digestive tract. Maybe it was the cut on the foot. Maybe it's growing your fingernail. Who knows? Either way, now the blood brings that carbon dioxide, the spent energy capsule, back up. It gets pumped through the heart, and then it goes to the lungs, and then we exhale. So the idea is, in Qigong culture, is the body is rebuilding itself not through the food, not through the stomach, not through the digestive tract. Those things can be important, and they are important. But the idea is, if you have an injury, if you have something that you like to heal from, if you have, now that we see the oxygen as pure energy, you can even use this for applying it to other things. You have a big problem you like to process, so you want to meditate on it. You can use that breathing, you can use the energy that you cultivate for anything you can imagine. Do 3 more of these. Or if you stop, how many feel that energy is more regulated? After some breathing, we stop doing Tai Chi, this slow movement with the torque. Yeah, cool. Before we continue, we have a few minutes left. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking. Does anyone have questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? Let's go back to what we were working on earlier, because this is an important, very important aspect for both the martial art and also from the aspect of opening our meridians. And this is turning the chansi. So if we take the hands, if you hold them, just like you're holding something in the front, and instead of being round this way, we can allow the fingertips to go more upright. And while you're standing like this, make your feet parallel. You can put them under the shoulders a little bit wider. It doesn't have to be a crazy Kung Fu stance, but just get relaxed comfortably. And then I want you to feel like while you're holding your hands, they're both filling up with energy, and then also something else happening. Have the feeling like some warm, heavy, viscous fluid, like a wax or honey, is, as the hand is filling up with energy, that this wax is going down to the lowest point, right? So even from the elbow, or from the shoulder coming down this way into the elbow. So like you've just dumped your arms into some hot material. You can think of anything that you like, molasses, honey, wax, some other type of, if you like caramel, that's a great one, right? And then keep the fingertips, they're not totally vertical because that would be awkward. They're just turned in a bit so it's natural. There's a little space in the armpit. And while you're standing, feel your hands. Relax your shoulders, relax your elbows, and have the feeling that your arms are sort of melting, right? If you like sci-fi movies, they always have some kind of cheesy effect with the wax melting off the skeleton kind of thing, right? So imagine that type of thing, and as that's happening, as you feel your shoulders, biceps, triceps, elbows, the bones relaxing, your hands become lighter, maybe feel warmer, you feel some sensation in your hand. And then while we're doing this, also calibrate. So let that operation still be happening with the hands and the fingers, and then pull the head top up, keep the chin tucked. Check to see that you have a half smile expression. I think there's a book called The Joy of Tai Chi, and it's a good idea. We should be having some type of good experience, good memory while we're practicing Tai Chi. So check to see that you have at least half smile. Tongue connected, neck is straight. Relax the back and the shoulders. Tailbone is sinking. Activate your feet, like the exercise we did earlier. Pull the whole foot together and then let it all relax. And then bring your attention back to the hands, what's been happening. They've been filling with chi while we've been standing. And so this is simply a concept. Next, bring those back to the dantian, right? So you can make some kind of fancy placement, but just like you're holding the very base of your stomach, and allow the energy from your hands that's been there to go back into the center. And while we're standing, imagine that same feeling you felt in your arms, like all of the energy is going back to the center as well. So like some type of slow movement. From all directions into the center, into the dantian. And then bring your feet together. Bring your hands together. And move your mind to the inside. You can, if you're safe at home, you can close the eyes all the way, some portion of the way. And move your mind into the navel, into the belly button, into your dantian. Your body, when you do that, you'll feel your body lines up. Your hips want to go to the correct place. Your shoulders want to align the right way. Your neck pushing up. And so internally, take a second, breathe that same kind of long breathing that we've just been doing. Imagine all the energy going into the center. All of the movement being collected in this center brain. And then take a second to smile to yourself. You can think about smiling at yourself. We all have a body and an energy capable of doing Tai Chi. But you can think of your personality as well, who your brain is. So take a second to smile at you. Take a deep breath. And that's it. If you have questions, comments, you can email me. We will go back to we'll do some stick. I think what's going to happen is I really want to focus on Tai Chi until we have a good set of classes that cover. I have a curriculum to do the first section, so I want to do that. I have a curriculum for all three sections, but I haven't reviewed all of that stuff yet. I have one for the first section, so I want to make sure. I may take a break in August at the 1 year mark. I think last August was when I started. So I may take a week or 3 off. Let's see what happens with the work schedule. But it also may just get reduced down to 1 class a week. Let's see what happens. I want to make sure that for RAD, and there's a few people I know that are tuning in from home that don't take the live classes, that are following, that are new people. I want to make sure that you have a structured way of getting at least the first section. Our first section is about 24 forms, 24 postures, and it's fairly typical for Yang style, even though we have a unique lineage, and that's a good starting place. The whole form is 155 postures, something like that. So some of you learning that. By the way, did you guys get the text forms? I sent out some names for some of that stuff. If those of you watching the YouTube at home, you can also email me, try to contact me, and I can get you. They're located also at tcsociety.com, so I never plugged the website, but there we are. So if you, I can hang out for another couple of minutes if you have stick questions, but for now I'm going to make it as if I'm turning off the class for YouTube. So have a great evening. Call if you have questions, comments, etc., etc. Thank you. Cool.